so nicely always supporting us on this journey of Krishna Bhakti. Gayatri ji, would you like to do the Mangala Charan?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. I will do, Prabhu.
Yeah. Just feel free to, I'll just share Mataji, but feel free to just recite the way you feel comfortable, yeah?
Yes, Prabhuji. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Gnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutapadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिने इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधारा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna. That was really nice. Thank you, Gayatri ji. It's a nice, good start to our program, our evening program on Thursdays. Yeah, I think before I get started, we are missing even Ramnath Prabhuji, but I think hopefully he should be for the next session, I guess, because he's in India right now. It's always nice to have elders, isn't it? Giving their insights and giving their take on some of the things that we do. And I think last week has been really wonderful. Gayatri ji, have you been part of any house programs out there in Canada? Do you do house programs, like in a house everybody joins for a satsang and things like that?
Yes, yes, Prabhu. We have Indulekha Mataji. We had, we don't have many I mean, ISKCON devotees, basically. We do have devotees, Hindu devotees, but
Yeah.
not particularly ISKCON. So, Indulekha Mataji is the one person who I know, and she had house programs. A couple of times we have attended, and once we did at our place.
Oh, that's
And yes, Prabhuji, and it was really nice. And we have, as I was mentioning, 1 hour away from our place, drive away from our place, there is a Jagannath temple, which it's called Vancouver Island Jagannath Temple, and it's there is just one white couple who are initiated long ago, and they're running this. They have made a temple in their backyard itself, like in the yard, and
oh,
it's wonderful, Prabhu. Whenever we go there, it feels like we are in Vrindavan. It's beautiful, beautiful. And they always have so many programs. In a year at least, we attend, 3 to 4 programs for sure we will attend. Sometimes in the winter, we cannot drive there because of the Malahat is a mountainous drive. And when it snows there, it's very dangerous. So we sometimes cannot go, but every possible time we will go there and we will attend, Prabhuji.
very nice, very nice. Interestingly, as you're mentioning, I was just remembering there's a place in Wales, Gayatri ji. I'm sure maybe Hemal Prabhu and Anil Prabhu would be knowing about this place called Skandavale, where on a hilltop you have Vishnu, and they made it like a natural waters falling from the hill, and they just collected into this thing, and it's almost like a small lake kind of thing, and then in the middle you have Lord Vishnu just lying over there, and then the water further going down, and Durga Devi and all. So it's and you have Wales the Welsh pujaris do the puja over there. It's really interesting to see, like, how it's being practiced by somewhere in the mountains, like, somewhere.
In Wales, Sham
Yeah,
Prabhuji. I've not
yeah,
heard of that. In
yeah,
Wales,
yeah.
okay.
Oh,
It's a
it's
beautiful
really,
place.
you must
Ah.
have
Really beautiful.
probably you been there?
Yes, yes. You actually, we had to stay overnight
Yeah,
because they start at 4:30 in the morning.
yeah,
So we were there for 4:30 in the morning. It's a beautiful sight, and you feel like, you just want to continue remaining there
yeah.
for the rest of the day.
Nice experience, actually. Yeah, Anil Prabhu, it's worth visiting, actually. It's a lovely place, actually.
Okay, I might have a look into that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I'll share with you. Yeah, so Gayatri ji, last week also, I just happened to be invited for a house program. Um, Sometimes I get a request, like, because somebody didn't turn up and they just wanted me to just do it. And mostly, like, the devotees are all from Nepal. And it was a wonderful house program. I think I can share the kirtan, actually. There's somebody taking a video and shared it. I'll put it in our group so maybe we can just have a look at it. Yeah, we did a bit of kirtan and then dived into the beautiful Krishna Katha and about Lord Ram. And keeping in mind, we have Lord Ram Navami coming on this Sunday. So it's going to be a beautiful festival time. Himal Prabhu, Anil Prabhu, I'm not sure whether you got tickets or that, but Sunday, it's the Ram Navami. It's actually
Yeah.
they
Yes.
they kind of offer tickets.
Yeah, I haven't got tickets for that, unfortunately.
Yeah, but they again released them, Anil Prabhu. I think they got.
Okay.
I think again they release in batches, kind of thing, like,
Uh-huh.
So you may be lucky to get it again if you can try it today or tomorrow.
Mhm.
But yeah, because we do the kirtan for 4 hours continuously, so we get a volunteers ticket, this thing, so we don't need the normal ticket fee, which everybody would require. So that is taken care. So hopefully in Sunday, it's going to be wonderful. And I was just wanted to just speak a bit from, if that's okay, Gayatri ji and everyone here, Amil, Himal Prabhu, Anil Prabhu, and Reshma ji, like, just to get started off from a Bhagavad Gita perspective, how we can link it up to the Ramayana, the beautiful stories of Ramayana. It's so beautiful, isn't it? Just to think about whatever Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, which he advises Arjuna, that is something which is in the previous yuga. Because when Krishna came, it was Dwapara Yuga. But before Dwapara Yuga, it was Treta Yuga. That's when Lord Ram appeared. And very interestingly, Krishna makes mention of the Raghuram dynasty in two or three places in Bhagavad Gita. One, he says, Imam Vivaswate Yogam Proktavanaham Avyayam Vivaswan Manave Praha Manur Ikvake Vibravit. I first told this Bhagavad Gita to Vivaswan, the sun god. He told to Manu, the father of mankind, and Manu passed it on to Ikwaku. It's very interesting, like I believe Prabhupada was mentioning that the word Manu also, that's where we get the word called man. Interesting, isn't it? Some of these English words also, they're actually taken from Sanskrit. And then, of course, Ikwaku dynasty, that's a Raghurama dynasty. So basically, Lord Raghuram, Ram is actually a descendant of, he belongs to the Ikwaku dynasty, where this Bhagavad Gita was passed on in a disciplic succession. But somewhere it got missed out. The chain got broken, and that's why Krishna says, I come and again speak about Bhagavad Gita. And usually, like when we tell something, because Krishna gives him advice to Arjuna saying that there are two dharmas we should always do. One is Swadharma and second thing is Sanatan Dharma. Guys, would you mind just giving me a minute, because I think there's somebody who has come at my door, the plumber. I have to just go in a minute. Just a minute, yeah? Yeah. That one. Downstairs, basement. Yeah. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I got a plumber who is actually, has come. So I may have to just go up once again once he knocks the door. Sorry, apologies about that.
No problems.
Yeah, so it's very interesting because when Krishna mentions, because sometimes when you talk about somebody, you will say, like, this is what was followed by our grandsister, our ancestors. Sometimes we tell, you keep hearing grandmothers and grandparents telling us, right? This in our generation, this is what we have been following. but it's got missed out. But in my time, in my generation, this is what we used to do. You have elders telling those kind of things. So you find that when Krishna talks about two dharmas that we have to do, one is Swadharma and another thing is Sanatan Dharma. Swadharma, so Krishna tells Arjuna, because a lot of people misunderstand that maybe Bhagavad Gita is all for the monks, or you'll become sannyasi if you read Bhagavad Gita. They have all kind of misconceptions. Very interestingly, even in the temple also, I came across a couple who were literally pointing. They had questions about Lord Ram. Why did he do like this? Why did he do like that? Those kind of a question, because it's very important to understand that anything relating to scriptures and anything relating to a bhakti life, right, for God realization, for self-realization, it is not something which you can take a book and start understanding everything. It is certain sadhana that you have to do, and that's when God reveals himself to you. So even if for many people you must have heard about it, like when you read Bhagavad Gita, they say, "Oh my God, I didn't understand at all. The philosophy is too high for me. It is very complex, complicated, and all that." But the actual reason why they don't get it is because spiritual subjects, unlike your material subjects, the way it happens is, as you keep doing your sadhana, as you keep chanting the holy name, as you keep reading Bhagavad Gita over and again, Krishna, because he's sitting in everyone's heart, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hrideshi Arjuna Tishtati, he's sitting in everyone's heart. And when he sees the sincerity with which the devotee is trying to understand Krishna, then Krishna slowly starts revealing himself. And that is how you get to know so many things. Sometimes without, you'll be really surprised, like you have certain doubt in your mind, but if you're serious about your sadhana, and if you're seriously doing your chanting, and if you're seriously reading time and again, Krishna reveals himself from time to time, makes you understand that, because he says, right, Tesham Satata Yuktanam Bhajati Priti Purvakam Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yena Mam Upyantite. So for those who are constantly engaged in serving me with love, I give them the knowledge, Buddhi Yogam. I give them the intelligence by which they come to me. So you understand, when we're trying to understand Krishna, and when Krishna sees the sincere endeavor, then he gives us the intelligence with which he can understand Krishna. So that is the process that's followed. But a lot of time, what happened, people, I literally seen people like, they just have dinner and they just want to discuss about God and they want to have answers. Some people are drinking and they're eating and all doing all kind of things. So the consciousness is totally contaminated. And on the top of that, they want to just speak about God and try to get answers. It is not possible. I literally seen people doing that, and that's not possible to understand God like that. So it's very important that we have to do our sadhana, and that's how we get a lot of answers, realizations. I literally have a notes in my iPhone, where I just have a heading called My Spiritual Realization. And whenever certain realizations come, certain thoughts come, when I see that some realizations of how this sloka is linked to this sloka, what Krishna meant in this and what is linked, I just immediately note it down. Because these are the things which come out of your sadhana. Krishna is revealing himself. And that's when you can just take a note and try to understand, okay, this is what Krishna is trying to explain. Like I was giving an example of chapter 15. Krishna talks about impersonal, he talks about a banyan tree which is inverted. And you would be like, what? What? Banyan tree inverted? What is that? But as you keep reading, then you understand the real essence of what Krishna is trying to tell. It is something very beautiful which he says. So like that, it's very important. And then Bhagavad Gita, Krishna makes a reference to Raghurama dynasty. Karmanaiva hi samsiddhim astika janakadaya loka sangrahamevapi santustam kartavi. So Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, uh, Astada Janikada, Krishna, when he's telling Arjuna, you have to do your prescribed duty, he actually invokes the name of Janaka, who's Sri Sita Devi's father. He says, Arjuna, just like Janaka in our previous yuga, Treta Yuga, even though Janaka was a very saintly king, but he used to do his prescribed duties, Arjuna. So like that, you should also follow in their footsteps, and you should also do your sadhana, like that he tells. Sorry, guys, I'll just, once again, apologies, I'll come again, yeah. Shall I open this thing door? Then shall I open the door? Yeah. Yeah, I do have. Yeah, I do. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm done with that. So thank you for bearing with me. Um, so yeah, so actually, so it's very interesting to see, isn't it? Like how Bhagavad Gita is linked to Ramayana, and like, how Lord Krishna is making references where he says that Arjuna, you should always do your prescribed duties. And look at the people, Arjuna, for example, even Janaka, the father of Sita Devi, he was a very saintly king. But even though he was a king, he was continuously doing his prescribed duties also, because he was a, because in those days they call them as Raja Rishis. Like, even the people are also, like, the kings also were very saintly kings. After some time, they would hand over the kingdom to the son, and they just used to go into the forest and meditate, or do their sadhana. Like, they've literally followed Varnashrama Dharma, which is not existing anymore, because people are so hung to power that they don't want to leave it. So even in Ramayana also, if you see Dasharath Maharaj, after some time he wants to retire. He wants to give away the kingdom to Lord Ram, and he wants to retire. That was the process that was followed. So Krishna is making it very clear. He is not telling that Arjuna to just leave away. A lot of people misunderstand Bhagavad Gita, but Krishna is making it very clear that Arjuna, you know, you are a Kshatriya and your duty is to fight. You have to do the fighting. You had to follow in the footsteps of Janaka Maharaj. They also used to fight, even though they were very saintly people, but they used to still fight. So like that, he makes references in Ramayana, and then he goes on to say, Yad yad achariti shrestha tat tat eve tarodana shrayat pramanam kurte lokastad anuvarte. Whatever actions great people perform, great leaders perform, the common man will follow. And whatever examples he sets by his personal behavior, that will become a standard for all the common man to follow. So when Lord Ram came during the time of Treta Yuga, he set the highest standards of behavior. He set the highest standards of how a leader is supposed to behave. He set the highest standards of love, in the mode of, like how much you have to show your love towards your parent. He showed so many beautiful divine qualities, the 16 qualities, divine qualities, which makes Lord Ram so special. In fact, very interestingly, Valmiki asks Narada Muni, when Narada Muni visits Valmiki, he asks him, like, do you know of any person who has such kind of great qualities, who's loved by everyone, and he loves everyone, and he is loved by everyone? And Narada Muni says, yes, there is a personality, that is Lord Sri Ramachandra, who has got such divine qualities, and such a great qualities that he has. That's the reason why Lord Ram, even today, he invokes a lot of emotions. I'm sure, I mean, maybe Hemalji and Reshmaji, maybe you would have seen, I don't know, maybe when I was doing Aarti, because I don't know how many people sing the Raghupati Raghava, but
Yes,
in the temple, whenever I see the Raghupati Raghava, because being in the front, I can hear the decibels go up 10% or
indeed.
20%
That's true.
high.
Yes.
Instantly, the decibel levels go high, isn't it? Whenever that's my experience of singing Raghupati Raghava. And for me, I feel like, he's there on the altar. We should just sing for him, just for out of love for him. With that baba, I kind of like, I always sing for him, and I really see so much of emotions keep flowing. Till then, everybody will be like, calm, and they'll be singing. When it comes to Raghupati, immediately they show a lot of emotion. But yeah, because the beauty is, there is no difference between Krishna and Ram. But then the thing is, when Lord Krishna came, completely he showed that he's God. He literally showed all the opulences of as being a Bhagavan. He literally showed that why he is called as Bhagavan. Because throughout Bhagavad Gita, he says Bhagavan Uvacha. He showed that he is the strongest, lifting a Govardhan hill at the age of 7 years old, right? Creating a city in the middle of the sea, like Dwaraka, and jumping from a huge mountain, 64-mile mountain. So like that, Krishna showed things which you cannot even fathom, like how he showed fully that he's God. And even unlimited renunciation. While in the middle of while fighting with Jarasandha, he just leaves it and just walks away. Unlimited renunciation. Then he becomes a chariot driver for Arjuna, showing again the opulence of renunciation. But unlike that, when Lord Ram came, he just came as a ordinary, like as a human being, not like as completely as Bhagavan, complete potencies. But one other thing that he displayed as a Bhagavan is the opulence of renunciation, right? Renunciation is one opulence that Lord Ram showed very clearly. That when he was told that he can't get the kingdom, and he has to go into the forest. Lord Ram happily accepted it, and he went away. He never protested. That is Bhagavan in the process, showing one of his opulences, renunciation. And when he was told that Bharat was going to be the king, he showed the same happiness when he was told that he was going to be a king. Whatever happiness he showed then, the same happiness he showed when Bharat was going to be the king. When he was told that Bharat is going to be the king. So we had to understand so much that if you take anything from Bhagavad Gita in terms of leadership, in terms of beautiful words of wisdom, what Lord Krishna told, the same things you can find that in Lord Ram has executed them as they come, because he's Bhagavan. He's one of the expansions. He's one of the avatars, right? Paritranaya sadhuna vinasaya cha duskritam dharma samstapanardaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Time and again, I come in different avatars. Once I came in the form of Lord Ram. That's why he says, Rama Shastra Britam Aham. Of all the wielders of weapons, I am Lord Ram. He makes it very clear, I'm only Lord Ram. But in that Lord Ram, he showed that he came in just as another human being, just to set an example, just to set the principles of dharma. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutanam adharmasya tadatmanam shrajamyaham. Whenever there is decline in religious principle, whenever the people like Kamsa, Ravana, they descend, the demigods request and the god descends. So that's how it happens. I just wanted to know, do you know the difference, the kind of a boons that were given for Narasimhadev, why Narasimhadev, when Narasimhadev came and when Lord Ram came? It's very interestingly, I don't know, I'm not sure if you are aware of it, but interestingly, Hiranyakashipu, when he prays to Brahma, he prays for a boon where he asks, like, no demigod should be able to kill him. No man should be able to kill him. No animal should be able to kill him. Right? So that's what Hiranyakashipu asked. He asked Brahma for a boon that no man should be able to kill him, no animal should be able to kill him, nobody should kill him in the morning time or evening time, and nobody should be using any weapon. So then Krishna comes in the form of Narasimhadev, half lion, half man. So he was not expecting that. He was expecting, he didn't even realize, he didn't even think that God would appear as half lion and half man. Very interestingly, later when the time of Treta Yuga, when Lord Ram was there, Ravana was praying to Brahma again. At that time, what did he ask? He asked, like, no demigod should kill him, no man should kill him, no demigod should kill him, or no Rakshasa could kill him. So he did not mention about human being, because he thought, he was so much of pride. Ravana had so much of pride. He thought, like, no human being can come and, encounter me, or nobody can come and kill me. No human being can do that. So when he told him, he missed out in mentioning about human being. He said, no demigod, no Rakshasa, like that he spoke. And then what happened? Lord Krishna appeared in the form of because he didn't mention about human being, he came as a human being. And he said the example, and then he went and killed Ravana. So very beautiful example to tell us that no matter how much smart you think you are, how much intelligent the demoniac people like Ravana and Hiranyakashipu could be, you can never be more intelligent than God. God can always find a solution, because everything, the very source of all our mind and intelligence, everything is coming from the Lord, right? Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivisto matasmitir jnanam apohanam cha. Like, I'm seated in everyone's heart, and from me only you're getting memory, knowledge, intelligence, and everything. He's the source of everything, intelligence and everything. So if you're just having a bit of intelligence, can you imagine how the source of intelligence is, how intelligent must be, how this creation is working, how everything is so meticulously working, because God is more intelligent than any of the demonic people as well. So I just wanted to just share that reflection from Ramayana, and I think maybe we'll just continue. But before that, is it okay if I can just do a quick prayer, and then we will dive into the Krishna book? Yeah. Sweta ji, Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining us.
Hare Krishna.
Yes. Hemal Prabhu, is it okay?
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girvardhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
My gratitude to my harmonium teacher who's really been teaching us wonderful Hare Krishna tunes. I can't believe it. Like there's so many Hare Krishna tunes to learn from, and this is one of the tune which I normally sing in the temple room along with my teacher. He taught me this, and this is something which one of the tunes which I sing when I'm at home, when Aarti is going on online. So many times I land up seeing you, Hemalji, because I watch online.
That's right.
Sometimes I just call one of the person and I said, Prabhuji, just now you took photo, no? Can you please send me on WhatsApp? And he was like, where is this person? I can't see Sham, but I said, I was just seeing you online. Say, can you see me this picture which he just now taken?
Right, yeah.
And then later, Reshmiji also posted, so it was nice actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just can't keep away from seeing our Lord, isn't it?
Absolutely. Very true.
We just can't keep. Okay, so as we always mention, this beautiful thing. I used to say this verse from Bhagavad Gita, but very nicely Prabhupada has explained it very clearly. Krishna, in one place, he says, Jatasya hi dhruva mrutyam dhruvam janma mritasya cha tasmad apariharyate natvam sochitam arhasi. In Sankhya Yoga, chapter number 2, Krishna says to Arjuna, one who takes birth is sure to die. And after dying, Arjuna, that person has another life and is sure to take birth again, Arjuna. So you don't need to worry about all your Bhishma Pitamaha, Dronacha, you're worrying about them. They had many lives before this, Arjuna, and in the future also they're going to have life. They're just going to shed the body, that's all. So you don't need to worry about that. So Krishna is making it very clear that all of us, once towards the end of our life, we again take birth again. But the only clause, like how they have a clause in contracts, like, one clause we have. But the only thing that Krishna gives you a message in another place in Bhagavad Gita is where he says in chapter number 4, Janma karma chami divyam evam yoveti takataha chaptadeham punarjanma naiti mameti. So Arjuna. So what Krishna is saying is, even though I told that a person who's taking birth is sure to die, and after death he's sure to take birth again, even though I have mentioned that, but there is an exception. But those who are my devotees, who are listening to Harikatha, who are listening to the divine pastimes of Krishna, listening to KrishnaBook, Krishna Katha, Bhagavad Gita, those devotees who are listening, they are so purified in their life. They carry so much of auspiciousness, because every time we are listening to Krishna Katha, we are depositing into our Lakshmi Narayan account. Just like how you have your Barclays account and NatWest account, you are depositing punya into your Lakshmi Narayan account. So towards the end of the life, you would have collected so much of punya that Krishna says, those people who are listening to my Krishna Katha, they won't take birth again. In a normal situation, yes, they do take birth again. But anybody who's listening to Krishna Katha, no more births, no more birth, no more death, no more old age, no more diseases, Jara Marna, all that is going to come to an end. And also they're going to come back to my supreme planet called Krishna Loka. What a benediction, isn't it? What a benediction. A lot of people have gone to Kumbh Mela because they know that, okay, this by just doing this penance, I'll get so much of punya and there'll be liberation and things like that. But what Krishna is promising is just not liberation. He is just promising that you will come back to my spiritual planet, Krishna Loka, and where you will be along with me in the association of Krishna. So this chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is basically a way in which we are kind of like elevating our consciousness to that state of consciousness. We are constantly thinking of Krishna, because if we are going to Krishna Loka, that's what every devotee of Krishna is going to do. He's always chanting Krishna's name, always glorifying Krishna's name. You know, when in India, when people wanted to go to USA, they had to write GMAT, they had to write TOEFL tests, they had to pass English tests, then they get prepared on how to, communicate over there in US. They're literally trained actually in India, like how to speak English so that, and how to understand their words and things like that. So you're literally preparing yourself by writing these tests and doing all that, so that you know that when you go land up in the US, you should be in a situation where you're able to understand their language, you're able to absorb what they're trying to say, and you're able to speak with that accent, with a similar, when people work in the customer service, you find them putting on an American accent so that, the other person will be able to understand. So like that, they literally train you, because even before you go to the, similarly, if we have to get promoted to the topmost planet, like spiritual planet, like Krishna Loka, it is like, this is our training center. This is our platform where Krishna consciousness or ISKCON or this Hare Krishna movement is a platform for all us to practice that. This is because this is what we are going to be doing in the Krishna Loka. We're going to be practicing. We are going to be always chanting the holy names of Krishna. We'll always be serving Krishna. So unless we have that kind of a bhava over here of loving Krishna with all our heart, and not just do chant mechanically, but chanting with all our heart. And that chanting with our pure heart comes when we do two things. One, we have to do these things in parallel. One, we keep listening to Krishna Katha all the time. And second thing, we keep chanting all the time. So as we keep chanting all the time, Cheto Darpana Marjanam, your heart is getting cleansed. As we keep chanting, listening to Krishna Katha, your heart stays purified and you start developing love for Krishna. And those two ingredients are so important for us to be transferred to the spiritual planet. So it's very important for us, and we are so blessed here that we've been covering, this is the 68th chapter, which is so amazing that with Krishna's grace and by the grace of Prabhupada ki jai, and because of him, we are able to do so many things. And one other thing I want to just share with you with my personal experiences, when you say yes to Krishna seva, any seva that you get for Krishna, if you're ready to at least come forward and say, yes, I am going to do it, and then you make all the preparation from your side, Krishna will give you all the intelligence with which you'll be able to do that job. I was called for a house program. They said, can you speak about Ramayana? Can you speak about Bhagavad Gita? Can you speak about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? I said yes. First I said yes, because this is seva. Any seva that you can do for the temple, because this is coming from the temple management. And I said, yes. Somebody is not keeping well. I said, yes, I will do it. And then I prepared myself. And when I went over there, everything fell in place and we had a beautiful evening. The Kirtan went perfect for half an hour. And then Ramayana thing went beautifully. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's thing went perfectly. And everything went well. And then we had a nice Mahaprasadam. And similarly, the very next day, I was given an opportunity to speak in the love feast, in the presence of all the new visitors who come to the temple to know more about the temple. And I said, yes, I will do it. And then I started preparing. Let me prepare what I can speak from so many Prabhupada's references, all the esteemed devotees' references, Gauranga Prabhu, Nitya Mataji, you name it, and on the wonderful devotees. And then when we do our sincere endeavor, because our endeavor should be, let me do whatever best I can for Krishna, whatever I can do for the devotees, because Krishna becomes very pleased when we kind of like help the devotees. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Mayeva mana adatsva mayi buddhim niveshaya. Krishna gives you options. He says, Arjuna, first fix your mind upon me, Arjuna, and then always engage your mind thinking about me, because that's what pure devotees do, right? But if you cannot do that, Arjuna, then atachittam samadatum nachaknusi mayi stiram. Arjuna, if you're not able to fix your mind upon me, Arjuna, don't mind. It's okay, Arjuna. Arjuna, have another second option, Arjuna. What is that second option? Arjuna, at least do this regulative principles, Arjuna. Stop, early morning, get up and have bath and just worship me. Just offer some flowers or fruits to me. Just, Arjuna, just be in the association of her devotees. Stop having anything like, non-vegetarian or liquor and all. Do all these regulations. In that way, develop a desire to attend me. If you cannot do that also, Arjuna, don't worry. Arjuna, I have one more option for you. Abhyasa pyasa martosi mat karma paramo bhava. If you cannot do that, Arjuna, they have one more option you have for you. What is that option? Arjuna, at least in some way or the other, work for me. When you're getting money from your salary, right? Just give some money for charity for me, Or if some devotees are asking you for some help, they say like, Prabhuji, can you take me to the airport? Or can you just go and do that something? Or can you go and do some house program? Can you go and give some class like that? So when the devotees come in, go ahead and do that, Arjuna. In that way, at least you can do it, develop it. So sometimes people misunderstand Krishna. They say like, oh, are you saying that they get most of the time people fear God. They don't love God. They fear God. They're like, oh my God, if I don't do this, God is going to punish. But if you read Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is giving you options. First, fix your mind upon me. If you cannot fix your mind, at least follow the regulation. If you cannot do the regulations, no problem. At least go and help some devotees. Arjuna, just work for me. Do something for me. At least in that way, it's develop a desire. So, like that, Krishna is always giving us options and how to always serve the devotees. So I just wanted to share my personal reflection with all of you, that this is how we kind of like elevate ourselves in not that I'm doing anything. I'm not at all this thing. We feel very humbled when they even ask me, because I'm not even worthy of any of these things, tasks that I do, but I just do it like as a seva for them, because only by doing seva to the devotees, slowly we get their mercy. They get their blessings, they get their, the krupa, and then by that way, we slowly kind of like practice our devotional service. So
I remember the example of Gau Puja and how you were requested to do it. You had no knowledge and you said, yes, I will do it. And this became a regular thing.
Yeah. And now, you know what, Prabhuji, whenever I see them, they say, Sham Prabhu. I say like, Prabhu, this year, can I do that? He said, Sham Prabhu, don't even ask, that place that is reserved for you. They say like, that is Go Puja and do this thing, that is yours. That's a guaranteed thing. Don't even ask. You do it, or can I do it? No, you are only going to do it. But that's a wonderful example, Hemal Prabhu, because I am nowhere even qualified to do Go Puja. Who am I to even do Go Puja? That is done by Brahmins.
Yes.
That's done by pure devotees. And I was ready to just only give grass to everyone. And
Yes.
look at what Lord Krishna done. And sometimes why I share about my personal experiences, I think all of us, like in the devotee line, right? All of us, we do have some realization. It's just that we have to take note of it and we have to share with others, because everybody is looking for some inspiration, looking for some kind of a, clarity on the thinking, looking for some kind of a, like, we have to share with each other. That's what my point is, Even if something small happens, which make you feel very happy about Krishna consciousness, just go and share with your friends. Share with your like-minded devotees, Like last Saturday, Himal Prabhu.
Yes.
I wanted to sing in the afternoon, and suddenly one elderly man came. I literally came rushing in the middle of my harmony class because I had to do my seva. And then one elderly person came and said, he's singing. He just came and he started. And then I said, okay, fine. That's my service, but I offered him and I just left it for him. And then 4:20, when I was just about to sing, I thought, okay, at least 4:20 I'll sing. Then another Mataji came and said, I want to sing. I was about to sing. Then I was thinking, oh my Krishna, did I do something wrong? Why am I not being deprived of singing Aarti for you? But
Yeah.
I didn't give up.
Mm.
You know what? Let me stay back till the late night until 9 o'clock and see if something is going to happen. And
Wow.
another person at 7:30, he started singing till 9. Exactly at 9 o'clock, he said, Prabhu, would you want to sing the Aarti? I said, oh, thank you very much, Krishna. No, my time has come. So then I sang at 9 o'clock. You see, don't be disappointed when Krishna doesn't give you an option. Krishna is just testing you. He's seeing like, are you the same person? Do you get frustrated when you don't get a service, and do you get very happy? Because sometimes what happens is when you are regularly doing things and you know that this is mine, you start developing a certain, sometimes pride gets into your mind, and Krishna knows how to just press that. When you remember when the gopis were like so proud that Krishna is always there with them, Krishna just disappeared in front of them. Then they were like all searching. Oh my God, I thought Krishna is always with me, and suddenly he disappeared. And they were all searching all over the place. Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? You see that? Because Krishna wanted to teach them, like, the value of it, like, and but sometimes, like, it happens even in our life. We may not get everything, every service the way we want it. But if you just hang in there, if you just keep your same mood, matra sparsas to kaunteya, shitosna sukha dukkada, agama payino nitya stamti tiksasu. Krishna says, the happiness and distress, the appearance of happiness and distress, and the disappearance, they're just like the summer and winter season. They appear, they come and go, and Krishna says one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. And so sometimes when you have certain unhappiness, you shouldn't get disturbed. You should have the faith. You should have the thing like, you know what, I'm going to hang in there. I'm going to be there and I will get my chance. And then you will. And Krishna will definitely get it. Through somebody, he will just make that arrangement. And I've seen that so many times. So this is this thing. And if you can see, like, literally, that reminds me about even Lord Rama as well. You can see, like, whatever in Bhagavad Gita, matras versus to kaunteya, shitos nrutukudaka. So Krishna says you have to accept it and you should learn to tolerate it. And that's what Lord Rama has shown, right? When he was about to be the king, and suddenly, just a day before he was supposed to be coronated as the king, he gets told that he cannot be the king, and not only that he has to go into the forest. Someone is like supposed to be a prince who's brought up with all the royalties and the best of the best comforts. He has to go and live in the forest, but he immediately accepted. He accepted, he tolerated, and he went and lived in the forest. You see, whatever Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Ram has shown it practically, that this is how it has to be done, So on that note, we covered this, we covered till here. We talked about, we seen how Krishna was mentioning to Rukmini. We see like how Krishna was trying to, discourage Rukmini and just telling him, like, telling her, why did you marry me? You should have married Jarasandha or someone else. It's really, you shouldn't have done it. Why did you do it? And things like that. And we see like how Rukmini has come back and, told about how nicely she understood every point that Krishna has made. She's put a nice context to that, and she kind of explained from her point of view, telling that who are the real kings, your senses, and the three modes of material nature and things like that. So we covered this. Material contamination is so strong that everybody is working day and night for material happiness. And that's the case, isn't it? Because Krishna is giving us a very clear picture about what's happening in the material world. Today only I was hearing Prabhupada say that, the people are saying like, you guys don't do anything and you're happily, they just get money by selling the books and, by people coming and giving donations and all that. And Prabhupada said nicely, that is called intelligence. You do all the hard work and then you come here and give money and then we will take care of it. That's real smartness. And that's what if you take an industrialist or someone who's like, who's holding factories and all, what do they do? What do they do? They get an idea, they have the dream, they have the idea, they'll put everything, they'll put the resources, they put everything, and that's it. Then they just leave it, and everybody is working hard day and night while this person is enjoying all the profits, right? Of course, there is a bit of a risk. Wherever there's a risk, there's a return also. But Prabhupada gave this example, like, how people, when they run these industries, there are a lot of hundreds of people are working hard day and night for them. And who's actually getting the pain? He just gets his salary, but who's getting the major profit? Is the person is. So it's very nicely mentioned. But yeah, in today's material world, that's what it is, isn't it? The material contamination is so strong. And that's the reason why when I was talking to one of my friend also, who is working in the company, he said the same thing. Oh, you guys are, Hare Krishna people, they're just happily enjoying it. But they think that, and people are so conditioned that they think that working day and night and working hard like that, this is life, and not like simply enjoying life with Krishna and things like that. But actually, if you really look at it, in the spiritual world, that's what it is. Nobody is working hard. And you don't find Krishna with a computer or something. You find him playing the flute, because that is what Lord Krishna is. He's above all these material world. Krishna says, I'm just doing my duty just to set an example, but actually I've got nothing to do with any of these things. I'm totally detached from everything. And this is what Krishna is also trying to tell us, like, that we have to do our work, but just don't get attached to it, because that attachment will be like a sticky glue to you, the show of the religion, austerity, penance, and everything is aimed at religion. That's what is happening, isn't it? In today's world, like people who have money, lots of money, they do not have the spirituality, but they literally ready to throw any kind of money so that the pujari will come and do some penance, some austerity, some kind of a ritualistic thing, so that they can get benefits, from the planetary positions and from any point of view. But the most of the time when they do for the devatas and Navagrah pujas and all that, they don't do it out of love, isn't it? Just to be honest, they do it only for some material benefit. If you do this puja, so even the pujari, a lot of people have come into this line, saying that, okay, you do this puja and then you get this kind of a thing. So everybody is on a different level of consciousness. But Krishna also, if you see, he's so kind. He says in Bhagavad Gita, even if you approach any devata, I am the one sitting in your heart and making your faith strong in that devata. But you have to understand that whatever the devata is giving it to you, that's all coming from me. I'm the source from where it's coming. So it so happened that if a person sincerely serves the Lord and at the same time maintains material ambitions, the Lord kindly removes the source of material happiness. So it's like you can't sail in two boats. Like it's like, we just want material happiness and then we also want spiritual happiness. But when Krishna favors such kind of a person who's trying to, like we seen also earlier, Prabhupada was having his own factory and he was doing so well and things like that. He was, he had everything business well set up. But certain point of time when Krishna wanted to shower grace on Prabhupada, everything went for a toss. Like, the factories, everything, the business was going in a loss. So that at that point of time, you're no more looking at that as a source of your happiness. You completely, going for spiritual, your contributions and everything will be, diverted, dovetailed towards Krishna consciousness. So that's what Krishna does. When Krishna shows his grace, he removes all these things, not because he doesn't want you to have money or he doesn't, but he removing all the kind of material comforts and everything, so that, because they are the stumbling blocks for Krishna consciousness, right? Bhogaishwarya prasaktanam taya pahrita chetasa. Krishna says a person who's totally, his mind is contaminated with all these material opulences and sense enjoyment. For those kind of people, the devotion to God will not come up. So Krishna, in order to show his grace, he removes all that so that you can focus completely on Krishna consciousness. So that is the right way to understand. Not that people get scared. Oh my God, Krishna is going to take away everything from me. It's not like he's going to take away from everyone. It's only for devotees, pure devotees who want to have the mercy of the Lord. Krishna says, I'll remove that so that you can completely focus on me. We worship the six Goswamis who are actually disciples of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Even they were actually ministers in the Nawab government, but they left everything. They had enough of gold coins. Sanatana Goswami had so much of gold coins which could last, but then he kept only what he can for maintenance, and remaining things he gave it away. So it's like, so for people who want to practice spirituality, yeah, you just don't sail in two boats, but you continue on that. So having said that, Nagara Prabhu, Hare Krishna, thank you for joining us.
Sorry,
Can I ask one of you to read this? Lord Krishna's. Anyone would like
Yeah,
to?
I can reach on Prabhuji.
Yeah, okay. Anil Prabhu, go ahead.
Okay, cool. Lord Krishna continued, My dear best of queens, I clearly understand that you have no material ambition. Your only purpose is to serve me, and you have long been engaged in unalloyed service. Exemplary unalloyed devotional service not only can bestow upon the devotee liberation from this material world, but it also promotes him to the spiritual world to be eternally engaged in my service. Persons too much addicted to material happiness cannot render such service. Women whose hearts are polluted and full of material desires devise various means of sense gratification while outwardly showing themselves to be great devotees.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So Lord Krishna, the conversation between Krishna and Rukmini, Lord Krishna and Rukmini Devi is still going on, where Lord Krishna is, so after Rukmini Devi spoke from her point of view, Lord Krishna is continuing with his responses to Rukmini Devi. She's the best of all the queens and best, and Krishna could understand, because Rukmini has shown through her responses that how much she is not looking at any kind of anything material with Krishna. She only wants to be in the presence of Krishna, in the association of Krishna. So Krishna could understand that he has no material ambition, and the only purpose is to serve him. So like this is what is very important. From Krishna Katha, there's so many things that we can learn. From Ram Katha, from Krishna Katha, there's so many things that we have to learn and we have to imbibe in our life. Many times when we heard about Lord Ram, they get emotionally attached. But then we have to, what is more important is, if you really love Ram, then you have to just imbibe those qualities in you. You have to live your life like Lord Ram. That's the way we can show our love to Ram, right? And that's a similarly when you can see how beautiful Krishna has been following his dharma, doing some of these things. We have to listen, and not only that, we have to imbibe some of those qualities. Krishna himself also had 64 beautiful qualities. So you can see like how much you see like how he was dealing with his friend Sudama. You see how he was dealing with the gopis, how he was not only that, even though he was the supreme Lord, when the gopikas showed so much of love, he responded to the love also. Right, by writing a letter, he written a letter, and then when Rukmini wanted Krishna, he responded by coming immediately and taking care. So Krishna is constantly reciprocating, and he says unalloyed devotional service can not only bestow upon the devotee liberation from this mind, but also promotes him to the spiritual world. This is what I said, right? This is very important what Krishna is saying. So we get what Krishna is promising is not people talk about liberation, but Krishna is talking about mukti and bhakti, both. He's saying that if you engage in bhakti, you will automatically mukti is also given. Just like when you buy an iPhone, it comes along with the charger. You don't need to worry about like, shall I buy one iPhone charger? You know, if you buy an iPhone, it will come along with that. So like that, if you are focusing on bhakti life, you don't need to worry about liberation, how to come out of this life and death and things like that. You'll be the soul will be totally liberated, and he'll come back. Krishna says, Yat karosi yad asnasi yad juhosi dadasi. Yat tapasyasi kaunteya tad kurusmadan. He says, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, do everything as an offering to me. And the best example, as Ram Navami is nearby, the best example is Hanuman. Do everything as an offering to me. Whatever he was doing it for the service of Lord Ram, right? If he had to get a Sanjeevani, this thing, he went and get the mountain. If he wants to get a bridge done, Lord Ram wants to build a bridge, immediately he would just contribute over there and just write he would write the name of Ram and float the stones on them. And then he would do everything as an offering for Krishna. And Krishna, that's what Krishna is trying to tell in Bhagavad Gita. Do everything as an offering to me. That's what Hanuman was doing. And then Krishna, not only throughout Bhagavad Gita, not only tells that you have to do this, but he also tells you what's the benefit of doing that. Shubha Shubha Palareva Moksasi Karma Bandhana Sannyasa Yoga Yuktatma Vimuktamam Upaisasi. Krishna says, by doing this as an offering to me, you will be liberated and you will come back to me. And this is exactly what this particular point is saying. He's saying that the devotee will be liberated from the material world and also be promoted to the spiritual world. What is the spiritual world called as? Sanatana. Krishna Loka is called as Sanatana. Prabhupada nicely explains that we as Jivatmas, we are all Sanatana. Krishna is Sanatana. And the world from where we all originally came from, that is called as Sanatana. And that's the reason why our religion, the original name of Hinduism, is called as Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana means eternal. Nitya Nityanam, Chetanas Chetananam. Krishna is eternal, so we as Jivatmas, we are also eternal. And Dharma, what is Dharma? Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam, Srimad Bhagavatam says, which means whatever Lord Sri Krishna says, whatever God says, that is the Dharma. And what does finally Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita? Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam saranam braja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshishyami master. His final instruction says, abandon all varieties of religion, surrender unto me, I will protect you from all sinful reactions. So that is the Dharma. That's the Dharma. Our Dharma is to surrender to Krishna. And how to surrender to Krishna? That also Krishna mentioned. Manmana bhava madbhakta madhyajimam namaskuru mam evaisasi yuktva atmanam matparayan. Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee. Offer your obeisance to me and worship me. And being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. So you see, Krishna is telling us, this is your Sanatan Dharma. Your Sanatan Dharma should be to always surrender to Krishna and to always engage in thinking about Krishna. Thinking about Krishna, worshipping Krishna, these are the things we have to do. This is our Dharma. And that's why our religion is called as Sanatan Dharma. And too much, like as I said, person too much addicted to material happiness cannot render such service, which is what I was telling, right? Bhogaishwarya prasaktanam taya parhata chetasa vyavasayatmika buddhi samadhana vidita. Krishna is saying, person who's too much into sense enjoyment and material opulences, they will not be able to get bhakti. That mood of bhakti will not come because he's so contaminated. His basically his consciousness is so contaminated with material desire. So that person cannot think about Krishna. That mind will not go towards Krishna. But then what is the solution? That solution also Krishna gives. Vesya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha rasavarjam rasopasa param drishtva nivartate. Even though the senses are away from sense objects, still the taste will remain. But the only way you can elevate your consciousness from being sense enjoyment and all these things is to get a higher taste. That's why Krishna's Prabhupada is giving the name of the vegetarian recipes as higher taste. When you get a higher taste, that means when you're in the when you get a higher taste by associating with the devotees of Krishna, you get a higher taste by tasting Mahaprasadam. When you get a higher taste by chanting slowly, chanting a little bit of rounds of chanting. So as you keep chanting and as you keep associating the devotee, then you will get a higher taste. So women whose hearts are polluted and full of material desires devise various means of sense enjoyment, sense gratification, while outwardly showing themselves to be great devotees. So you see that when your heart is polluted, is full of material desires, and how to remove? Is there any technology to remove or unpollute or remove all these material desires? What is the technology that we can use? That technology, in order to give that technology, is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, where he gave us this technology, which is called as the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And when you're chanting this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, this addresses this problem that is mentioned out here. Why? What happens here? What is Krishna is saying? Women whose hearts are polluted and full of material desires. Now, how can you unroot these material desires and how can you clean this heart? By always chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Because what happens when we chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra? Cheto Darpana Marjanam, Mahabadavagin Nirvarpanam. The two things what happen. Cheto Darpana Marjana means cleansing of the heart. Your heart will become, so whatever the samskara, when you say heart is polluted, what Krishna means is so much of samskaras and so much of baggage of imprints from your past life that you gathered, which is still acting on you, which is in your heart. That's why you see some people, some bad habits come very natural to them because all the samskaras they're carrying from the previous life. So it's carrying on, just like the air carries aroma. Samskaras also, they're getting passed on from one life to another life. Shariram yadavapnoti yachape utkramateswaraha grihatvaitena samyati vayur gandham ivasiyat. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Just as the air carries aroma, that every living jivatma is carrying different conceptions of life from one body to another. So that subtle body takes your atma and just passes on to the next body. And again, in the next body also, your subtle body is staying. So wherever you start from, it's continuing. But so this life is meant to remove all these samskaras, to wash away all these samskaras. And to do that, the one and only solution is to get rid of this material desire, because as you keep chanting, your heart get cleansed, your mind get cleansed, and the tendency to enjoy material sense enjoyment, that gets reduced as you keep chanting, proportional to how much you keep chanting. You see? As you keep chanting, even not only that, the benefit of chanting is you're remembering Krishna and you're being in the association of Krishna, but the side effects, the side benefits is that the tendency to engage in sinful things also will get reduced. Right? So that's one of the things. I just want to quickly ask, maybe we can just do one more chapter, one more this thing, if that's okay. Is that okay?
Yes, of course. I can read.
Yeah, Prabhu, Hemal Prabhu, please go ahead.
My dear honored wife, although I have thousands of wives, I do not think that any one of them can love me more than you. The practical proof of your extraordinary position is that although you have never seen me before our marriage and you had simply heard about me from a third person, still your faith in me was so much fixed that even in the presence of many qualified, rich, and beautiful men of the royal order, you did not select any one of them as your husband, but insisted on having me. You neglected all the princes present, and very politely you sent me a confidential letter inviting me to kidnap you. While I was kidnapping you, your elder brother, Rukmi, violently protested and fought with me. As a result of the fight, I defeated him mercilessly and disfigured his body. At the time of Aniruddha's marriage, when we were all playing chess, there was another fight with your brother Rukmi, on a controversial verbal point, and my elder brother Balrama finally killed him. I was surprised to see that you did not utter even a word of protest over this incident. Because of your great anxiety that you might be separated from me, you suffered all the consequences without speaking even a word. As a result of this great silence, my dear wife, you have purchased me for all the time. I have come eternally under your control. You sent your messenger inviting me to kidnap you, and when you found that there was a little delay in my arriving on the spot, you saw the whole world as vacant. At what time you concluded that your beautiful body was not fit to be touched by anyone else, therefore thinking that I was not coming, you decided to commit suicide and immediately end that body. My dear Rukmini, such great and exalted love for me will always remain within my soul. As far as I'm concerned, it is not within my power to repay you for your unalloyed devotion to me.
Haribol. Wonderful. It's nectar, isn't it, Prabhu?
Yes.
So much, absolutely nectar, real nectar. If you can remember, see what Krishna said over here in the last point, isn't it? Doesn't it ring the bell? He said something earlier to someone else like this. You remember sometime back when the gopis, actually there was so much of lamentation. Then when Krishna sent a letter to the gopis through Uddhava, and when Uddhava was reading out, this is something which he said as well, that the love that the gopis showed towards Krishna, Krishna said, I do not know, I do not have it within my power to repay that kind of a love that the devotion that you have towards me. And we can feel that similarly here, Krishna is telling about like how he is unable to pray. So this Harikatha is so important because we are so blessed, because in Sanatan Dharma, we not only know that we just not think about God somewhere sitting over there, but we know God, the form of God, right? Satchitananda Vigraha means he is like full of bliss, full of knowledge, and he has got a form. He's got a personal form. So our knowledge about Krishna in Sanatan Dharma is so amazing. We know that God has a personal form. We know God has a personality. That's why we call him Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we know God's name. His name is Krishna. We not only know about God, but we also know the pastimes of the Lord. I mean, this is as close as it gets. You know, when nobody has seen a train for the first time, if it's coming from a very far off distance, he thinks that there is some smoke coming. As he comes near, he knows that something is coming. As he comes near, then he gets to see that this is a train and it's got so many bogies, it's got an engine, you got everything. So we can see that there are different kind of a level of realization. Some people think that it's all Brahman. Some people think that God hasn't got a form. And some people know that God has a form. And this is the highest in Bhakti Yoga or Sanatan Dharma, where we not only know about God and His name but we are also discussing the pastimes of the Lord. We are not only discussing the pastime, we are literally quoting, quote unquote, what He's been saying to His divine counterpart also, right? How beautiful, isn't it? This is like knowing Krishna that is the closest to understand Krishna Leelas. And this is how we can love God. The whole world is actually suffering from this because they all think that God is somewhere, and somebody thinks that God has asked us to go and kill people and do everything so that then He'll be satisfied. So there are so many people are being misled. But here we are, where we understand that the best way that we always love God. The only thing that any religion should be actually doing is to love God. The whole purpose of spirituality is to love God, and which is what we are doing here. We are trying to understand from God's perspective, what is He thinking? What is He responding? And we've seen that throughout Krishna Katha, Krishna is always reciprocating. He's not a stone. He's actually there in person, and he's reciprocating to the love that we show towards him. And through the Krishna Katha, we can understand that when we do something for Krishna, Krishna also has that kind of a feeling that how to repay, for the love that we show towards Krishna. And this is the beauty about Sri Krishna. This concept is ye yata mam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamyam. So here he's also reciprocating the love that Rukmini has shown, where he's mentioning that there's nobody who can show more love than you are showed the highest love. And we've seen that, right? Rukmini, even before she's seen. And Prabhupada explained a very beautiful thing. He said, like, don't try to see God, because all these are different senses. Even the sense of hearing, sense of seeing, all these are different senses, right? Don't try to see God. You try to see God through your ears, that by hearing about God. And this is what the approach that Rukmini taken. Rukmini tried to see Krishna through her ears. She heard from Narada Muni, because this is also one of the senses. Your sight is one of the senses, your ears is one of the senses. But she used this hearing senses in order to love God. She didn't use the eye senses, because see, when Duryodhana and all of them, they were in front of Krishna, but they couldn't make out. Krishna showed his form also, a higher form also, but still they couldn't get it. So what do you speak about that? So the only way, what's the difference between Duryodhana and the Pandavas? Because Pandavas had so much of love for Krishna. So Krishna revealed himself. Only when you have so much of love, that's when you purify our consciousness. Why do we practice Krishna consciousness? So that we can purify our consciousness, because in that purified consciousness, then we'll be able to see Krishna. We'll be able to talk to Krishna. We'll be able to see the form of Krishna in that purified state. He'll come in some form and show us how much. So here Krishna is trying to tell Rukmini, like, the kind of extraordinary, he's giving a proof, like, how much of love that he had. Rukmini had so many options. In those days, they had so many options. They can choose whichever prince they want, but she literally neglected them. She, in fact, you've seen, right, in the previous, few paragraph above, she said, like, she hardly given any respect to those people. She said, like, they're just like some mosquitoes or something, like, she just played on them. And she was ready to, and she had only two options. Either I'm waiting for Krishna, and if Krishna doesn't turn up, then I'm going to commit suicide, and this is the end of life. I will do my austerity. In my next life, maybe I will get Krishna. But it's only Krishna that I want, nothing else. And we see that how Krishna is showing. So through the Harikatha, we can understand how the devotees are showing love for Krishna. This is what we have to learn also, how to show our selfless love. Because the whole idea of following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's this thing is, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prayer to Krishna is, like, you stamp me, you hug me, you leave me, you stamp me, you kick me, you do anything, but I do not have any other option other than your lotus feet. That is the true surrender. That is the true love towards Krishna. That way we are saying that you can do whatever you want, Krishna. You can play with my life. Like how when Prabhupada went to US, he said, Krishna, I do not know what the purpose why you're sending me to the United States, but you can make me dance according to the way you want. Whatever you want me to do, I will do. You just let me be a puppet in your hands. And this is the mood of the devotee. And this is what you can see, like, how the devotees are always behaving. So here also we can see that Krishna is really appreciating that not only that she showed how much she loved Krishna by waiting for him and trusting him to come and kidnap her. And second place also, she's saying that even though Balram killed her brother, still she did not come forward and protest against it, because she was having the fear that she don't want to go to lose the consequences of losing Krishna. So that was weighing on her mind more than thinking about defending her brother or just stopping from that or showing her anger towards that anxiety. So Krishna says, like, so here you can see that as a result of this great silence, my dear wife, you have purchased me for all the time. So you can see that Krishna gets purchased when we show through unalloyed love, not the love where we say, like, Krishna, you give me this, then I will break 100 coconuts for you. You give me this, then I will come to your house and I will, do pradakshina around the temple. That becomes like a business affair, you just give and take kind of thing. But what Krishna loves, we can see over this, right? You can see through this example that what Krishna really loves is unalloyed devotion, not without any coming with any tags or with any conditions, unconditional love. That's what Krishna was. Tesham satatiyuktana bhajati priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam. That's one thing he says gives intelligence. And Krishna also says, of all the devotees who come to me, the one who's coming out of pure love for me, Krishna says, that is something which I really love. That person is very dear to me, and I'm very dear to that person. I'm not getting the sloka which Krishna mentions this, but that's what Krishna says in that. He says the four kind of people who come to see Krishna to the temple. People who are in difficulties, people who want Lakshmi, people who are just coming out of inquisitiveness. And finally, the fourth kind of category are people who just come out of love for me. And Krishna says, those people who come out of love for me, for those people, I just love them with all my heart. I'm very dear to that kind of a devotee, and that devotee is also very dear to me. So Krishna here, because of how the way she's shown her love towards Krishna in both the incidents, Krishna is saying, like, as far as I'm concerned, it's nothing in my power I can repay for your unalloyed devotion towards you. So this is the kind of a mood that he have. I was just wondering if This is okay. Maybe just a small paragraph. Gayatri ji, would you want to just read this? We have just come to the end.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu. I'll try, Prabhu.
Yeah, yes. Mataji. Only if you can, Mataji. I don't know.
Yes. Yeah, I'm here. Yeah. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna certainly has no business being anyone's husband or son or father, because everything belongs to him and everyone is under his control. He does not require anyone's help for his satisfaction. He is Atma Rama, self satisfied. He can derive all pleasure by himself without anyone's help. But when the Lord descends to play the part of human being, he plays a role either as a husband, son, friend, or enemy in full perfection. As such, when he was playing as the perfect husband of the queens, especially of Rukmini, he enjoyed conjugal love in complete perfection. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. That's wonderful. So this is something which I was telling from time to time. We have to, many people misunderstand Krishna as if like, Krishna wants to go and enjoy with all the queens and things like that. But we have to understand that Krishna is called as Atma Rama. That's very, very important. Self-satisfied. So even when Krishna descends into this material world, his own Hilarini Shakti is manifested in the form of Radharani, right? So Krishna is not even depending on anyone for the inner pleasure potency of Krishna himself is manifested in the form of Radharani, and is with his own energy is enjoying himself. You see, he is not depending on any one of us for his enjoyment. Even though the gopis, of course, again the gopis are expansions of Radharani, and so it's very important as devotees of Krishna to understand Krishna from a right perspective. That it's nothing for him to behave as a husband or friend, but Krishna, whenever he comes into the planet in any form, whether it's Lord Ram as Krishna himself, he just sets an example that this is the role that I am playing. So if you see throughout the thing, as a great son, he was a great son of Nanda Maharaj. He behaved like when he knew that Devaki and Vasudev, they were not able, they couldn't spend time with him. So he given some time to them also, so that he can go to the Gurukul and all that. So he tried to be the best son. So immediately with the Gopikas, with the cowherd boys, he tried to be the best friend. With Sudama, he showed that he is the best friend. Like that for the Pandavas, he also showed that he's Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam, I'm your best well-wisher. So like that, Krishna played every role to perfection. And similarly, when he was in Dwarka, he played his role as a husband to the perfection. And this is why you see this beautiful conversation that are going on between Rukmini and Krishna, because Krishna is playing the role as a husband. And even though there were so many queens, 16,000 queens, but everyone in the house, he played the perfect role of a husband. He played a perfect role. He never kind of like looked down on anyone. He never looked up to anyone, but he was be like a husband. Like this is how I had to be. And every queen used to think that Krishna is only with me. But Krishna was there enjoying. And Narad Muni was surprised to see that Krishna in every palace, he was doing something else in one palace. So same Krishna, he's expanded into 16,000 Krishnas and enjoying in different pastimes with the Lord. So this is what Krishna is. The power of Krishna is. And that is what we have to understand. We are not the enjoyer. Krishna is the enjoyer. Bhoktaram yajanatapasam sarvaloka mahesharam. We are to be enjoyed. We are Prakriti, and Krishna is the enjoyer. And the natural combination is when the Atma is with the Paramatma and serving the Paramatma. This is the most natural combination. Jivara Swarupa Haya Nitya Krishna Das. Krishna is mentioned in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that we are all servants of Krishna. We are to be serving Krishna. And by doing that is where we get actual pleasure, the real pleasure. And finally, I just wanted to ask anyone else, the last, because we're just finishing this chapter. So one last paragraph and we can end this and we can start off on a new thing.
Shall I read, Prabhu?
Yeah, Nagarato, please.
According to the Vedic literature, although polygamy is allowed, none of the one's wives should be ill-treated. In other words, one may take many wives only if he is able to satisfy all of them equally as an ideal householder. Otherwise, it is not allowed. Lord Krishna is the world teacher. Therefore, even though he had no need for a wife, he expanded himself into many forms as he had wives, and he lived with them as an ideal householder. Observing the regulative principles, rules, and commitments in accordance to the Vedic injunctions, and social laws and customs of the society. For each of his 16,108 wives, he simultaneously maintained different palaces, different establishments, and different atmosphere. Thus, Lord, although one exhibited himself as 16,108 ideal householders.
Hari bol. Thank you, Prabhuji. It's very interesting. Like, out of my mind, I was just telling about the 16,000 wives and everything. And I think almost like I explained the second next paragraph also without knowing. Um, and this is what isn't. And yeah, again, the most important thing is when Lord Krishna came, Lord Ram came, they were kind of like what is according to our Vedic culture, according to our Sanatan Dharma. They literally followed to the T. When polygamy was allowed, it is allowed that Krishna can, he can marry multiple, the kings, Kshatriyas, they're allowed to marry multiple. But at the same time, according to the Vedic culture, they had to be given a proper respect and, what they deserve. So the condition according to Vedic culture is you can have as many, but you should also be in a position to satisfy all of them. Can you imagine how can you go and satisfy with one wife itself, people struggle to just to run the family and do them and just keep them happy, and it's really struggle in this material world, isn't it? Imagine 16,000 wives and just keeping everybody happy, and just so it's very important in the Vedic culture. It's not that I can go and have anyone. It's all about there's a responsibility that comes along with that you have to make sure that you have to take care of them. So Krishna was kind of like showing as a world teacher. That's why Krishna is called as a Jagat Guru, right? He's called as a Jagat Guru because for a reason that he set the example. Yad yad achariti shrestha tat tad ebe tarojana. Whatever examples great leaders said, the common man follow. So so when people just loosely talk about Krishna, but we have to understand the 60,000 wives he didn't want to marry, but they came and requested him because they were being kept as a captive with Narkasura, Bhamasura. And then, so Krishna had he just reciprocated, okay, fine, I'll do that. And then he given them the respect. He went and built palaces for them. He went and lived along with them, and he followed the Vedic culture and just made sure that all of them were follow the regular periods. Not just that he was enjoying, but he was just setting an example that whomever you are, and he's also, like as I said, when Krishna is the Supreme Lord, Krishna's to Bhagwan Swayam, right? That means you are the original Supreme Lord. He showed why he's the Supreme Lord. He full display of complete opulences, like how he expanded himself with 60,000, 16,000 forms, how he created a city in the middle of the sea. Everything Krishna did to show that he is the Supreme Lord. When we say Bhagavan, 6 opulences. Bhaga means opulences. One means one who possesses. All the 6 opulences Krishna showed completely. So this is where we are coming to an end. This has been a very long chapter, talks between Krishna and Rukmini. But I think it's been a beautiful conversation that has happened. And I'm sure like all of you would have really enjoyed this lovely conversation that Krishna had with Rukmini. And so we have come to an end to that. And then next one is going to be the genealogy of the family of Krishna. Are you excited to cover this next chapter? It's amazing. It's going to be amazing, isn't it? We're going to just cover the family of Krishna. So let's look out for the next session where we will be just covering this. And I hope everybody has a wonderful Ram Navami celebration on Sunday. And if you can make it, we'll definitely see you there in the mandir as well. Happy Ram Navami in advance as well. Any comments, any realizations? I want to just stop over here. Sorry, I had to take a bit of more time, but I think we covered pretty well. One complete chapter has come to an end. So because we almost like took 4 sessions, I think, for this. So
as always, Shyam Prabhuji, profound nectar at its best.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Your association gives me the joy and the inspiration to talk and speak. I think it's the devotees. Your presence is so valuable. Because when we see devotees, when we be in the presence of devotees, automatically the inspiration comes to share more and more. So thank you, Prabhuji, for consistently always giving your association. So I'm really humbled.
We don't need an EV, we need a Krishna charger, which is what we are getting through Krishna Katha.
Yes, absolutely. We are, through Krishna Katha, through Bhagavad Gita, we get to know from Krishna that we are doing the right things and we are in the right boat, and we are sure that we are going to the right destination.
Absolutely, Prabhuji.
Absolutely. Whatever Krishna says, that's what we are doing. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatan chastarira. Always keep chanting, and everything is kirtan. So Yeah, this is what Krishna wants all of us to do, and this is what we are doing. Machchitta Madgata Pranam Bodhayante Parasparam. He says the devotees should always discuss Krishna Katha with each other, and that's what we are doing. So a lot of people say like, oh, Bhagavad Gita, you shouldn't read, you should follow. But actually, if you see, we are following by some of the slokas. Gayatri ji, anything, any realizations, any corrections?
Oh my goodness. Corrections, what, Prabhu? I'm learning and there is no way I can correct you, Prabhu. Thank you so much for such a wonderful session. And the takeaway for me was like when you said that when we are coming to America or any other country, we get trained how to speak, our etiquettes, how to do. This is what we are learning through Krishna consciousness so that we can go to Golaka Vrindavana, which was very, very profound. Very nicely said, Prabhu. That was very nice. And every word what you say is very nice, nectarian. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much for beautiful session. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank
Happy Ram Navami for everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Gayatri ji. It's wonderful to have your association. I'm really so humbled that you took time to join us. And that's what devotees are all about. And this is what our realizations, we have to keep changing. And I was just thinking, this is what it is. Krishna wants us to be fully prepared before we come to his Krishna Loka. We can't be there and then we think about material things, isn't it? Because the very reason why we are in this material world is because we wanted to have material things. So if you're there over there and thinking of material things, again, Krishna will give a chance for us to again come back to you. But we don't want to do that because we already got a taste of how difficult life is in this material world. We don't want this, uh, Krishna very hiddenly in Bhagavad Gita says, you're all searching for this flickering happiness, but real happiness is when you're chanting my holy name. Prasanta manasahayenam yoginam sukhamuttamam. Krishna says, they get the people who are chanting my holy name, who are fixing their mind on me, they get the highest form of transcendental happiness. But because we are not there yet, because we are work in progress. So when we comes to the stage where we are doing, fixing our mind completely in the pure consciousness, then Krishna says, you'll enjoy nectar even in this life. And this is what we should aim for. We should rise to the level of Sattva Guna, enjoy the nectar here, and then be prepared for Krishna Loka. All right, Prabhu, any realizations?
Yeah, I'll take only 20 seconds, Prabhu. It strike when you talked about higher taste. I got to memorize what Dhruva Maharaj, right? Before he started this prayer of Om Namo Narayana for 6 months, he was trying to get a seat on his father's lap, right? At the end of months, when he sees Narayana, Krishna, he says that I was looking out for a glass pieces when I have the
Yeah.
the Bhagwan itself. No, so when he got that higher taste, then he lost interest on the
Absolutely, absolutely. Wonderful one, Prabhu. That's a really one. I mean, these things are very, very important to share, because that particular one simple word he said, he given us the realization that actually we are running behind, we are praying to demigods, which we covered, right? In the chapter, we covered about demigods. Krishna himself is talking about demigods and all that. Krishna is saying all those benefits that demigods are giving, they're all temporary. You're unnecessarily, you're doing all these penances and all these yogas and going into all those for temporary benefits. But actually, if you really directly see Krishna himself, you'll forget all these material benefits. You'll get Ananda means Ananda.
Satchidanand.
Yeah, that is why the yogis were meditating on Lord Ram. Ramante yogino nante, which means that Ram is a reservoir of all the pleasure. So when the yogis were completely meditating on Lord Ram, they were diving into the deep, highest pleasure of blissful enjoyment. They want that. They want that higher pleasure of completely diving into the pleasure of Lord Ram means is a reservoir of all pleasure. They were looking at that pleasure, spiritual pleasure. They're not interested in this material pleasure. So that's why we have to understand what does word Lord Ram means is a reservoir of all pleasure. He's not. That's why yogis are always after him, isn't it? And that is why the yogis wanted to be in the association of Lord Ram, and all the people, they said, like, then that's when Lord Ram said, you will be in my association, as he'll come in the form of the 16,000 queens in the next life. But in this life, it's only going to be Sita Devi. So it's very interesting, how they're all connected from one yoga to another. And very interestingly, Narad Prabhu, as you mentioned about that he did all this. That is true actually, because he was not allowed. Dhruv Maharaj was not allowed to sit on the lap of his father. That he went to his mother and he cried, and then mother said, "Sorry, my son, you are the second wife's son, so you don't have any other choice. You can only ask Krishna. You can only go to God and ask him. Only he can help you," kind of thing, right? But what was he doing? That he wanted to go to God and do all the meditation so that he can get the kingdom. He can sit in his father's lap and he can enjoy that kind of a privilege. But again, if you see again another, that reminds me of a beautiful story, that when Jatayu had so much of a love for Lord Ram, that when she fought for Lord Ram, she, again, as you mentioned, she died in the lap of Lord Ram. You see, and when she had so much of love for Lord Ram, she died in the lap of Lord Ram. And this is what happens, right? And she was happy. She just end of this thing, and that is the only time, in fact, it is mentioned that Lord Ram showed that he is the supreme Lord. At that point, that's the only time when he showed that he is the supreme Lord, where he told Jatayu, when Jatayu died, he was so touched by the love and sacrifice that Jatayu did, that he said, "You will be going to the spiritual world. I will give you moksha. I will send you to the spiritual world." That is the only time when Lord Ram revealed himself that he is the supreme Lord, where he told that I'm going to send you to I'll give you moksha. Because only God can give you moksha. Only Supreme Lord can give you moksha. That's why, right? In Lord Krishna, when Muchukanda was praying to, when Muchukanda was praying, Kartikeya says, "I can give you any material desire, but I can't give you moksha. Moksha only Krishna can give you." So that's what is.
Very, very wonderful session today.
Yeah, I know the devotee is so beautiful, isn't it? Krishna Katha is so beautiful. It's the nectar. We just can't stop talking about it. But anyway, like they say, the show has to come to an end. The satsang has to come to an end for today. But hopefully next week we will continue with a new chapter, the family of Krishna, the genealogy family of Krishna. So let's stay tuned, and more and more nectar flowing in. So thank you so much for giving your association today, taking your precious time. Krishna, I'm sure, is very pleased with all of us. Vanchakalpatarubhyasya kripa
कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितां
pavanebhyo
Vyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Vaishnavebhyo
Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
jai.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
And we will see you again next Thursday. Hare Krishna.
Hari
Hare
Bol.
Krishna.